Hello, baseball fans from across Canada. Another beautiful day here at Siemens Stadium, home of the Okotoks Dawgs. Of course, for the second day in a row, it's actually the home of Energy City. The Cactus Rats calling this a home game here in Okotoks. Of course, we're more than happy to host them for this weekend. But for me, Connor Krauser, that's it. We're going to throw you down to the field level, Logan. Logan, what you got for us? So that's your starting lineup today. Thank you very much to our in-stadium announcing crew for handling that one. We'll be back after our national anthem when we return here on the broadcast on Flow Sports here from Okotoks, Alberta. the incredible Bretton Rose on our national anthem today. And the Energy City Cactus Rats are going to have a little burr under their saddle today after falling last night. If your final score 20-1, few changes coming in. Zach Piles in at first, replacing Elijah Bear. Jaden Cummings came in from right field yesterday, so it is going to be Kenyon Sanders starting in right and Cummings in at second. And the other change is it is back to Elias Campbell. He got subbed out late in the game for Cooper Davis. And Robert De La Garza taking the place of Ten Shindo. And then behind the dish, Nick Hagan today. So let's call it 5 changes for Energy City. And of course, on the mound is Braden Giardina. Yeah, and we'll take this time to recognize our umpires. At home place, it is Jeff Wong. At first, it's Lonnie Smith, and at third, he was calling the balls and strikes last night, so he's back here in Okotoks. It's Marcel Rosetto. So it is a little bit different, but much the same, and we'll talk about the changes defensively for the Dawgs as they step to the dish. And I got to tell you, not that many changes for the hometown but away playing Okotoks Dawgs, or in those all black. In big games, we wear black. Much of this Calgary and area teams seem to follow that mantra. And then the lightning strike third unis for Energy City. But leading off, it is going to be the third baseman, Aiden Munoz, leading it off. It says 21 on the Jumbotron, but he's wearing number 20. So he steps in the box. So Munoz, he moves over from short to third today. Takes a called ball to open up the ball game here today in Okotoks. Beautiful day for baseball. Should be around that 18, 19 degree mark for the whole game. It's a called strike on the outside corner there from Wong. Give you the full weather report. It's supposed to be sunny, and I'm wrong. I was told it was supposed to be 18, 19, listed at 23 degrees out in the Okotoks sun today. That one down in the dirt. Let's make it 2-1. As you can see on the wide camera angle, the flags out in left center, dead to their poles. The strongest gust we'll see is around 7 kilometers. So a beautiful Sunday for baseball as Munoz swings over the top of that off-speed offering. Can Munoz lead off the day for the Dawgs? Getting on base. Takes inside and low. Let's load up the count. 3-2. Munoz swings at that one. It's going to drop right in front of the feet of the second baseman today. It's Cummings. He'll throw to Piles and one away for the Dawgs. Sometimes that'll hop a little weird off the edge of the turf. And he'll get that single off of that weakly hit ground ball, but put away 4-3. So that'll bring out Eric Matchy. And Matchy swings the first pitch. He sees it. Bananas, it bends. It will stay foul. I thought that was on the line, but our first base umpire, Lonnie Smith, a veteran, says that one flew foul. Eric Matchey attending Illinois State University. Swings and misses at that. That had a fair amount of sink and a fair amount of lateral movement as well. So Matchey down 0-2 here in the second plate appearance for the Dawgs. Delayed leg kick, and Matchey swings and misses. Uses the change in the timing quite well there on the mound. Did Giardina. Caden Williams strides to the dish. That'll bring out the number 3 hitter, Caden Williams. We had some jump last night. Let's see if he can jumpstart the offense here for the Dawgs. Swings at his first offering and fouls it off in the direction of the berm. Talk about the man on the mound, Braden Giardina out of Merced, California. 6'3", attending Modesto Community College. Has played in 2 games, come away with 1 win and a 5.62 ERA, and has set up a couple of strikes here on Williams. Took home the win in an 8-7 victory in another one of those home games that aren't home games down in Sylvan. Williams punches that one foul. Yes, of course, if you're an Energy City fan, you know that the home games have been, the home debut rather, has been pushed back. But I've heard there's a soft opening coming soon for a patio party. So keep your eyes posted, fans. And Williams stands in once again and battles it off. 5-pitch AB coming, but 0-2 still the count after a couple of fouls. This will be the second start for the career, or for the Cactus Rats career for Giardina. The pitch. Good eye from Williams, is trying to get him to swing at the high heat. But Williams knows where that strike zone is and lets that one soar. Williams sees a pitch he likes, but it's going to be lined right into the sight lines. Dipped a little bit on Davis, but Davis puts it away. The Dawgs go 1-2-3, and that'll be a 0 on the scoreboard for Energy City. So it'll be the home half of the inning when we return here on Flow Sports. Gavin Wuschke on the mound, and I apologize, folks, for the graphic change. I thought I hit the right button, but apparently I didn't, so that's on me, folks. We go now into the home, well, the home half for the visitors. But it's Gavin Wuschke on the mound, his first start of the year out of Regina, Saskatchewan, and he'll induce a bouncer over to the third base line. Munoz gathers over to Croson in time. 1 pitch, 1 away. Yeah, good to have Gavin in the rotation, the 6'3" senior out of Bellevue University. Been a Dawgs product for a long time. That'll bring forth De La Garza. Not in the DH today. He'll foul that one off into the Okotoks skies. Talking about Gavin Wuschke. Last year, he was very, very good for the Dawgs. Played in 7 games, 4 starts, a 1.42 ERA. That one will be batted foul. Let's call it 0-2 here for De La Garza. He has been part of this Dawgs organization all the way back to 2022. Out of Regina, Saskatchewan. That one looks like it came out of the hand a little bit weirder than Wuschke was expecting. But 1-2, Wuschke hoping to open up his season with a quick inning. Just missed the top of the strike zone there. Let's make it 2-2. Wuschke probably not upset about the 4-pitch AB so far after only needing 1 to put away the leadoff man for Energy City. This one will be high into the Okotoks sky. Looks like it will be Caden Williams settling under it. It is 2 away for Energy City. Gets himself into a good situation, then forces the pop-up. That'll bring forth Timo Arasena, one of the returning players here for this Cactus Rats organization. Got to go see his first taste of hockey last week, or a couple weeks ago. He got to go to Game 4 of Edmonton versus Dallas, and Wuschke misses high and outside to the lefty, Arasena. Arasena fouls that one off, and if I had an arm that was about 40 feet long, I would have had it. But it was a struggle for Arasena last night. It was a struggle for a lot of the Cactus Rats as he gets the outside corner painted. 1-2. So 1-2 here for Wuschke. Swing and a miss. Down goes Arasena. And a great first inning for Wuschke. And we'll be back for the second inning when we return here on Flow Sports. So leading off the second inning is going to be the DH today, Connor Croson. As he draws his cross in the dirt as he heads into that right-handed batter's box. Gets the day off fielding as he started at first base and was a late lineup change as Nash Kroll had an off-field incident on the way to the ballpark, so didn't get that start at first yesterday, and High and tight to Croson there. That'll be a ball. Maybe trying to bat off back the power hitter off the plate a little bit. Croson swings and fouls that one straight down. So 1-1 the count to Croson. And Croson fouls that one off as he watches it fly past into the netting on the first base side. Connor looking for the heat, it would seem. Giardina gets another foul off the edge of Croson's bat. Croson steps back in. Giardina takes the sign in that blinding blue and neon yellow jersey. Croson gets some weak contact in and out of the glove there for De La Garza, and Croson will reach. We are going to call that an E6. Seemed to be a routine hit there and ate up De La Garza. So that'll bring forth Barry Iceman, the Iceman playing out in right field today. Out of the University of Montevallo, just like the man who came before him. That one well high. Looked like it might have been almost a pitch out attempt, but we'll call it 1-0. Sixth game of the season for Barry. Rocking a .448 batting average, but has also struck out 4 times. Iceman takes right down the middle. 1-1 the count. Been some good stuff here from Giardina, but Dawgs are going to grow to see those pitches, especially if they're going to be right across the center of the plate like that one was. Right-hander delivers outside. 2-1. Last year with the Dawgs, Iceman hit a .317 in 30 appearances at 104 ABs in his WCBL season. Croson goes, it's a hit and run, so Croson touches second, and it'll be Dawgs on the corners after Barry Iceman. Just a very steady piece of hitting there. Just put it into the hole there. Obviously, first baseman has to hold Croson on first, but that'll allow the hit. And it'll be the first baseman today, Van Slyke. Slyke fouls that one off. Matt Van Slyke billed out of Whitby, Ontario. They got Toronto, Ontario on the scoreboard. In and around the 6th, we'll call it. His first year with the Dawgs, and pickoff attempt towards Iceman at first. Comes back in and gives a little bit of a stare down to the right-hander Giardina. Giardina, the motion. That one down below the strike zone, and handling the catching duties today, Nick Hagan looks out at the bases, looking for any movement. Giardina takes a look over his left-hand shoulder. Checks on Croson, comes set, the pitch. Oh, fell off the mound. They're going to call it a balk. That will score Croson. So balks home a run, and the Dawgs are ahead early again. Dawgs scored 3 in the second last night, and as a pitcher, I hate to see that, balking in a run. Releases this time. 2-1 the count to Van Slyke. Still has that runner in scoring position as Eisman advanced to second base. You have to wonder if maybe that landing area for Giardino wasn't quite as tight clay as he wanted. Eisman dances around at second. Van Slyke swings and puts it into the Okotoks fan zone. 2-2 the count. It's like struggling a little bit at only an 083 on the year. Van Slyke averaged .313 in 2 straight years of Mineral Area College. Had a few less games played last year than he would have liked. I don't have it for sure, but you think that could have been injury. So working back from that, 16 games played, but a 500 OBP with Mineral Area. Of course, down in Missouri. That's like takes down low, and he'll take a free 90. The walk issued after the balk. And we're going to have a mound visit here early on as we have Farah step into the box. But just a little conversation here between Jordan Blundell and his pitcher. The Energy City did use 4 separate pitchers in the game last night. And of course, then they had De La Garza come in to position pitch the 9th. But again, Jackson Farah, after the mound visit, will step into the box. Farah attending the WCBL pipeline that is Lynn Benton Community College. In 3 games so far this year, batting a .333. A Gladstone Oregon product swings and puts this one up the middle of the infield. Could be 2 for Energy City. 6-3 double play. Of course, still does advance Eisman, but the 6-3 double play. De La Garza electing to touch the bag himself instead of flipping to his second baseman. That'll bring the nicest man to ever walk up to bad company, Aiden Rose, to the dish. Rose takes on the outside bottom corner, and see him nodding, knowing where the stuff is now. Rose got yesterday off, but coming into play in the afternoon game today. Rose chops that one, chops it to De La Garza. De La Garza, that throw was not in time. So Rosie with the infield single scores Eisman and legged that one out. Good hard 90 from the Dawgs second baseman. I usually say a defensive stalwart, but legged that one out. Good hit there from your Dawgs' favorite dog, Aiden Rose. So that brings forth the pride of Riverside, Jason Ariola handling the catching duties today. Ariola fouls that one off. 0-1. Yeah, we say Aiden Rose, the man on first base, is your Dawgs' favorite dog. He's a favorite of the rest of the team, so they'll be hooting and hollering, seeing him leg that one out. Pickoff attempt at first, checking to make sure the University of British Columbia product still paying attention. Got that sliding glove on his left hand. Giardinera. Or Giardina. I told myself I was going to try to not do that. But Arriola flies out to center, and that will be it for the Dawgs, but not before they open their account. 2-0 for the Dawgs as we head in to the home half of the second inning when we return on Flow Sports. Leading off for Energy City, it is Husu. So Parker Husu handling the DH today. He's one of those guys who bats left but throws right out of Victoria, BC. Gets a called first strike to open his account today. Husu swings and misses at that second offering. Stuff is on today for Gavin Wuschke. Fans trying to stay still, not have any interference in behind Wuschke. That's going to be the second K of the day for the Dawgs. Gavin Wuschke gets the whistle going. Husu fooled on that pitch on the outside edge. That'll make way for Elias Campbell. The Embry-Riddle University product. Yesterday, he did have one hit in his 2 ABs. Takes a called first strike. And fouls that one off in the direction of his own dugout. Gotta say, I do like these third jerseys with the lightning bolts. It's not going to help me with the whole it's Energy City, not Electric City, but they are bright and visible, and tried to frame that one, did Arriola, but couldn't confuse Jeff Wong behind home plate. 1-2 the count. Wuschke delivers quickly, just misses the outside corner. That'll take the count to 2-2. Wuschke looks down at the ball, says, "Ball, can you find the strike zone?" The delivery. That'll be fouled off to the dugout once again, off the shin pads of the backstop today. Nick Hagan, who's standing at the top of the dugout stairs. Wuschke settles his feet, delivers. That one in the dirt, trying to get Campbell to chase. Brings the count full. Wuschke settles his feet, It's his little marching motion in. The pitch swung on, and Campbell battling again. 3-2. We go again. Wuschke takes the call. The pitch. Swing and a miss from Campbell. And a second K of the inning here for Wuschke. After a long battle, wins it with Campbell. That will bring forward Jackson Davis. Jackson Davis takes it up high. Tough when you have two guys with the same last name on the same team, and I do believe they are brothers. Yeah, both out of Spokane. Croson, or rather, Van Slyke had to back up, but he'll flip to Wuschke. The Dawgs retire 1-2-3, maintain that 2-0 lead. We'll be back for what the Dawgs come to bat when we return here on Flow Sports. Braden Giardina still on the bump, but there is some pitchers starting to make their way to the bullpen for Energy City. And yes, it's Giardina, not Jardinera, the delicious, delicious jarred condiment so common in the northwestern United States. And back to the top of the order for the Dawgs, it'll once again be Aiden Munoz stepping in to the batter's box, the lefty on righty matchup. Munoz on the hot corner today for the Dawgs after playing last night at shortstop. Inside the count. Oh, the press box having fun today. Hearing laughs coming from the other side. Munoz 1-0 the count. Takes it inside once again. Bends his head back away from that high heat. 2-0 the count. Yeah, there's a couple Cactus Rats warming up out in left field, and Munoz gets a bat to that one, but it'll squirm along the ground back towards his own dugout. Munoz swings over the top of that one. If he had made contact, that one might have been heading off towards the bridge here in the valley of Okotoks. Aiden Munoz attending Simpson University in Redding, California. Munoz makes contact with that one, but that'll fly back towards the berm. That one will bend back towards that on-field bullpen for the Cactus Rats. So we'll do 2-2 all over again. Munoz 0 for 1. Went down on a ground out in his first AB. And he'll go down looking this time. A second strikeout for Giardina on the evening. And hang that K back where it's going to be looking. That'll bring forth Matchy. Matchy in his first AB of the game went down swinging. So he'll look to improve on the afternoon. Takes a called first strike. He'll step out of the box, knock the clay out of his cleats. Red bat that he is holding this season. Takes that one outside, blocked well by the catcher, Hagen. Hagen, another one of the few returning players, and going to be seeing a little bit more action, Will Hagen, after leaving the game early yesterday, was Hunter Ferguson. So it is going to be Hagen and Rudiman, at least for the short term. Hagen framed that one. I didn't think that was anywhere near the strike zone, but pulled it back, gets the call. Putting Matchy in a stressful situation with that open stance. He'll take to the outside once again, 2-2 the count. Yeah, Matchy starts off very, very open, has that left foot pointed along the third base line, but steps closed as that pitch approaches. And he'll call for time. Didn't quite get comfortable in his stance, and also we've seen a variation in the deliveries here from Giardina. Probably trying to avoid that quick pitch, but the count goes full. Yeah, we've seen the quick pitch. We've seen the delay. We've seen Trevor Bauer, if you watch his YouTube series, if you still like him, he talks about how important it is to vary the speed of your delivery. So if you can do that Johnny Cueto leg kick or just vary your tempo, can affect the batter, but couldn't find the strike zone. A walk issued to Matchy, and he'll take that. That'll add to his on-base percentage. Connor Croson will come in, collect Matchy's gear, but it'll be the center fielder, Caden Williams, stepping into the box. Caden Williams also 0 for 1 on the evening as he flew out to left center in his first AB. Williams bends at the hips, takes a called ball, and Matchy had a long secondary lead off at first. 1-0 the count. Giardina takes a peek over his shoulder towards Matchy and does throw there. Matchy in well in time. He'll pop back up to his feet. Giardina also has that quite open stance as he takes the call. Eventually sees one he likes. Hagen lined up to the outside, but it'll be fouled off by Caden Williams. Williams at that Pittsburgh State University teams up with his Dawgs teammate Ricardo Sanchez for Ricky's final year of NCAA eligibility. Williams also both of those new joining of Pittsburgh State last year. He'll take down the middle for a called strike. 1-2 the count. Once again, they check up on Matchy, and he'll cycle his hips all the way around, maintaining contact with the bag. So the concern with Matchy at first, he'll take a little extended primary lead. And they'll check up on him once again. That one a little bit closer, but has now thrown as many pitches towards Matchy as he had to home plate to Caden Williams. Matchy drawing quite the attention. The pitch finally delivered home, and Williams fouls it off. We'll go to 1-2 all over again. Connor Croson will wander his way over and hand that ball back to home plate umpire Jeff Wong. As Williams in a battle. Williams pokes that one with the end of the bat. That'll at least advance the runner. In time is the throw. So 2 away, but advances Matchy. And that'll bring Connor Croson to the dish. The DH today led off. We're going to call it 0 for 0 because he advanced on an error when the ball popped out of De La Garza's glove. Had a triple and a double last night. Matchy drawing more attention. Pitch up high on Croson. Had to think if Matchy wasn't paying attention, Hagen would have popped up and tried to throw him out, but managed to scamper his way back to second. Dawgs always aggressive on the bases, and that one will bounce on Hagen, get all the way to the backstop. So Matchy now only 90 feet away. Hagen with the old school catcher's mask. Not wearing the new goaltender style mask that we've seen come and go. It's almost fallen out of favor for the regular mask once again. But the 2-0 to Connor Croson. Croson pops that one up into the Arcandia outfield training center. So Matchy 90 feet away after the wild pitch. 2-1 the count to Croson. Croson opening this ball can find some green space in the outfield. All it finds is once again that outdoor training solution. Keep your head up if you're in the bullpen for the Dawgs. Dawgs getting to wear that all black, even though they are the visiting team in today's game. Doesn't clash with these bright blue thirds for Energy City. Delivered home, and Croson battles away. Let's do 2-2 all over again. Barry Eisman on the on deck, hoping that he gets to come forth in this inning. That'll generally mean that Connor Croson has plated Matchy. He'll foul that one off, and the battle continues. Just adding some extra pitches onto the arm of Giardina. Connor Croson, actually the pitcher who got the final out, got the 10th strikeout of the game for the Dawgs last night. Pitchers were on fire, including both Croson and Ricardo Sanchez. Will that one drop? It will not. It'll be into the glove of the right fielder, Sanders. And after getting a bit of trouble, Giardina finds a way out of it. We'll be back with the home side of the third when we return here on Flow Sports. So the catcher, Nick Hagan, steps into the box. Hagan, one of the few catchers who didn't play yesterday, takes inside. Don't know how many affiliate players made the trip down here with Energy City as he fouls that one off. So I don't know who's handling the bullpen today. No, I'm just taking a look down that third base side, and it does look like it is Ruderman handling the bullpen today. So only the two catchers down here for Energy City. Hagan takes a called strike in the top of the strike zone. Make it 1-2. As the skies have opened up, I didn't expect to see blue sky with how smoky it is here in Alberta, as that one's put up the middle of the infield and it double clutched, but still in time. Took a couple efforts there from Machi, but he got it across the infield well. Of course, Machi yesterday was at second, but he'll swap over the side of that second base bag to play short today, and he initially did eat him up, but Kenyon Sanders comes to the dish. Takes a called ball. Thought it might have hit the strike zone, but that's why I'm commentating the game and not in a way more important role and wearing the blue. Sanders swings and misses his second pitch of the at-bat. That one bananas around third base. And that'll be a sliding double for Sanders. It was real close to that bag, but it did sneak to the correct side if you're watching for Energy City. So that'll be the first recorded hit for the Cactus Rats. First hit of the season given up by Gavin Wuschke, of course. First game he's played so far. Wuschke comes home. It will be a bunt to advance the runner. Wuschke gets it over to Van Slyke. One away, but a runner now only 90 feet away for Energy City. Of course, if he plates, that'll half the Dawgs' lead as they got two in the top half of the second, and that's all we've got so far. This will bring in Zach Piles. Piles with that wide open stance and the neon pink gloves. Piles, first pitch swinging, but it's handled by Rose, and that'll put away the threat. The Cactus Rats threaten but do not score in the top of the fourth. We'll return with a home half of the fourth. Well, it is the home half of the fourth when we return here on Flow Sports. So Iceman steps into the plate, and I did just notice something. I don't know if he caught on the broadcast, but having a little bit of trouble with the pitch communication from the Cactus Rats dugout. So it is all going to be hand communication and calling into the pitches for now, as Iceman puts that one into the seats. And correction, Iceman no longer at Montevallo, transferred to Reinhardt University. So we'll correct that up. It's a called ball on the second pitch of his at-bat, where Iceman reached on base and then eventually did plate a run in that second inning. Fouls that one off into the Okotoks sky. As I said, beautiful, beautiful morning, or afternoon rather, with blue skies peeking through the smoke. So 1-2 the count to the leadoff man, Barry Iceman. Iceman swings and puts that one into the area code of Jackson Davis. Davis will make his way in and field that one cleanly. One away for the Dawgs. Looks like they figured out the pitch communication device. So Matt Van Slyke steps into the batter's box at a Mineral Area College. Slyke fouls that one off. 0-1. Let's see what comes here as that one missed out the outside. 1-1 the count. And it's like one of the few players I haven't actually gotten the chance to talk to in person, but good eye there once again, brings the count to 2-1. One of the new Dawgs, obviously. You get a handful of them every year. And it's like makes contact, but fielded well by Cummings. Over to first and one away. Did make Piles move a little bit more than you'd obviously want if you're a coaching staff, but not going to complain about two Dawgs being put away. So big in the big, tall Jackson Farah. Farah listed at 6'3", according to my stat sheet. The Lynn Benton Community College product. Fouls off the first pitch he sees. And that tracks. I got to talk to Jackson for the first time last night after the 20 spot put up, and the Dawgs are feeling pretty good, but I'm 6'2" myself. Not often I have to look up to many of the Dawgs players as he swings and misses at the second offering. 0-2 the count. I asked him, can you think back to the last time your team scored 20? And he said, I don't even think in Little League we put up that many. Takes the pitch outside. Takes the count to 1-2. Hagan tried to frame that one up. Here's the pitch, and Farah swings over the top of it. And the Dawgs and Energy City going back to back with the strikeouts. 1-2-3 inning for the Dawgs. We'll be back on FloCollegiate when we return with the fifth inning here from Okotoks Energy City home broadcast. The final pitch of Whiskey's warm-up. And Ariola throwing a dart. And as I said, it is getting hot out there. They're saying it's reading at 26 here in Okotoks. I can only imagine without any wind whatsoever. Probably feels like it's in the mid 30s. And I'll try and convert that for you that may be watching down south of the border. Let's call that the high 70s out on the field today. For those of you watching south of the border, we thank you for tuning in to the Energy City home broadcast on the road. Fielded and not dug out. Great attempt there. They're going to say safe at first. Van Slyke had to try and dig that one out, but could not do it. Good run down by Munoz to even get the ball to first to have the chance. That'll bring forth Timo Aracena. Aracena out of Vero Beach, Florida. He dribbles it down that third base, barehanded across. Van Slyke couldn't see it. That's a real tough look, and nobody at third. No error going to be assigned on that as Aracena just dribbled it down the third base line in a great barehanded effort. Van Slyke losing it in the Okotoks Sun, and Parker Husu, and oh, they are going to assign an error. I don't know. I think that one was close, but freezes Husu on the first offering. It does Wushki. Pair of great plays, I thought, from the young man handling the hot corner, Munoz. Called strike again. Wushki says, I might have to do this myself. No outs with runners on the corners. Wushki does have 4 Ks on the afternoon, if my tally is correct. Delivers that one's up high in the strike zone, and Ariola pops up quickly. Ariola only caught 7 innings of ball last night. He was replaced by the pitching crew's Chase Tucker. Checks up at first, not in time from Wushki. Van Slyke applies the tag a couple different times, making sure that Lonnie Smith was watching. Wushki delivers. Swing and a miss. Another K for the Dawgs. 1 away here in the home half of the 4th. That brings Elias Campbell to the dish. And that's officially the 4th K of the afternoon, according to our statisticians here in the box. Wushki checks up at first. No pitch thrown towards Campbell just yet. Wushki really concerned with the speed at first. Wushki deals. Campbell, it's a hit and run, and that'll score the first run of the game for Energy City, and it'll still be runners on the corners. So Energy City breaks the goose egg off the single there. By Campbell. That'll bring Jackson Davis to the dish. Pitch to Davis on the outside corner. Runner goes. Ariola says, I'll let them take the 90 feet. Didn't think he could get the throw off. Umpires will rotate. Campbell will get the steal recorded. Healthy leadoff and small ball proving to work well for Energy City. The tag is made out on the play, so they do score the run, but the lead runner cut off at third. So just the runner at first for Energy City, but they do tie up the ball game 2-2. Great arm there from Barry Iceman. Iced down the runner at third. So now it's just Davis all alone at first. Called strike. That is Nick Hagan, the catcher, up at the dish. Wuschke fields his position well, snags that one out of the sky, makes the play at first, and the Dawgs will get out of the inning, but not before Energy City knots this one up at 2. I'll be back when we return here on FloCollegiate. So it will be Aiden Rose leading off here for the Dawgs. Dawgs score 2 in the second, answered by 2 from the Cactus Rats in the fourth. So the Dawgs have some work to do if they want to take home both halves of this weekend series at home but away. UBC's Aiden Rose steps to the dish to lead off the inning. Rosie watches the first one fly for a strike. Here in the top of the fifth. That one into the dirt, gets all the way to the backstop off Hagen. No bat boy here for the Dawgs today. Rose, good eye. Bat flinches off his shoulder. Doesn't break the plane. Called second ball. They put it on the wrong side of the scoreboard. Call nodded. Rose fouls it off towards the bullpen for the Dawgs, featuring brand new turf in the warm-up area. Some people like the turf, some people Not a big fan of that elevated platform now that the pitchers get to warm up on. Pitch to Rose, and Rose battles it off yet again. We'll go back to 2-2. I quite like the AstroTurf in there. It's a nice change from the clay that used to be a home for waterfowl anytime it rained. The 2-2 offering from Giardina plunks Aiden Rose right in the back of the spine. Aiden will take 90 feet the hard way. Hit him right in the digit, right in the back of his jersey. That'll bring back Jason Areola to the dish, the catcher today. Areola 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Takes a called strike. Looks like that might have been a 4-seam that crossed the plate. As I said, the Cactus Rats motivated by that 20-1 shellacking last night. And they have already beat the Dawgs this season as the visitors earlier this year. So 1-1 on the season series between these two squads. Pickoff attempt at first once again. Rosie says, I'm getting back okay. Areola swings over the top of that one. He's an 0-2 hole. Oh, 2 the count to Areola. Rose. I don't think he's got that much of a lead off over at first. Drawing a little bit of attention away, and Areola will fly that one off towards the berm. The battle continues. Kind of accelerated his hands there and just got the bat to ball. Battle to stay alive. Makes solid contact, but that one's going to be right at Elias Campbell, one away. Back to the top of the order for Aiden Munoz. Aiden Munoz handling the hot corner. He had a couple of tough plays to make in the top half or the home half, the bottom half of the fourth inning. Pickoff attempt once again. Aiden Rose getting lots of clay on the front of that black jersey, having to scamper back in. Notice the ground crew adding a little bit of extra water to the clay, and Rosie says, I might as well go, but then they plunk Munoz. And I see the sheet of paper coming out, so it might be a double switch forthcoming here. I'm not sure what the appeal was there, but both runners marked as safe. Matchy steps into the batter's box for his third appearance at the plate. He's got runners at first and second, and one away for the Dawgs. Matchy swings at the first pitch he sees and fouls it off along that first base side. So they're just getting the official name on these alternate jerseys. They're the high voltage alternate jerseys, the electric blue and high vis yellow, tribute to the power generation that is this province's namesake and primary industry. But that one threw a bolt down the third base line and well ahead of Aiden Rose. Fun fact, talk to the power generation industry roots of the region up north. 73% of electricity in Alberta generated in Parkland County. 2-1 the count now to Eric Matchey. Dawgs tried to execute the double steal. Obviously caught stealing at third was Rose. Areola takes a large secondary lead, but Matchey swings over the top. And I have heard that there will be another stadium update coming on the 26th. So 18 days away for that stadium update. Hopefully can stop being the wandering Cactus Rats as Giardina steps off. Good to finally have your home stadium and all that comes along with it built up, and dancing at second base. Maybe we do need to bring in that MLB 2 disengagements rule. Munoz dances around the pitch, can't find the strike zone. Count goes to full for Eric Matchey. Hagan asks for a new baseball. And it takes some time to talk with his pitcher. Closely monitored meeting there by Jeff Wong. Once again, going to mention our first base umpire, Lonnie Smith, and number 3, Marcel Rosetto at third base. Giardina going to try and get out of this 5th inning. Runner goes. Matchey pops that one up. It's going to stay in the confines of Siemens Stadium. Fielded well by Zach Piles, and the Dawgs strand one. And we'll return with the top of the 5th when we return here on Okotoks Dawgs Baseball. So stepping to the plate in those electric blues, gonna lead off the inning for Energy City is Kenyon Sanders. Sanders playing out in right today. Ended the day there yesterday. Wushke delivers and Kenyon fouls that one off along the first base side. 0-1 count for Sanders. That one will be put right back up the middle. Out of range of Matchey. So a single to lead off the inning for Sanders. And Energy City trying to take the hometown Okotoks crowd out of this one. as it just keeps heating up here in Okotoks. Good day for the sales of slushies and margaritas here in Okotoks as they check up at first. Seeing lots of fans out here with the special 5 o'clock somewhere hats on. Of course, those jerseys will be unveiled later in the season. Both of these teams electing to go to a blue alternate uniform. Tried to get the back pick, but back in time was Sanders. And he got the strike at home too, so 0-1 the count. Red clay doesn't look too good on the front of these electric blue high vis uniforms, and gotta say I like the shout out with the high vis yellow to shout out all of our rig hands and those that work in the energy sector in Alberta. That's kind of a fun little detail. That one outside and in the dirt, 1-1 the count. And I've never been a roughneck, but I've worked in a rig shop or two myself. So big shout out to our energy sector. Even if you're just a go-for working in the rig shop like I was. Lots of attention being paid here to Kenyon Sanders, the second pickoff attempt on the evening. I don't think his primary leads all that much, but checking up on him a third time. Oh, and tried to tag him as he got up, making sure he stays in contact with that bag. That Van Slyke, shifty with the hands, trying to do the hidden ball trick. Comes home outside. Almost looked like they're looking for that back pick attempt. You saw the leg swing around from Jason Areola, allowing him to pop up quick if the opportunity arose. 2-1 the count. High and outside, 3-1. Wushke behind. Dawgs do have someone warming. I'll see if I can get a name for you. Wushke gets a pop-up. Does it leave the stadium or the field of play? It will. Right into that new 109 section. Far over to our right. That'll bring the count full. Wushke checks back to first. Kenyon Sanders fouled off. And we do know the name of the dog who's warming. It's number 4, Okotoks' own Brody Forno warming up. Brody is starting to get into this season. He started down in Lethbridge. His dad, Pablo Forno, runs the Grand Slam Sports store here in Siemens Stadium. And I heard Brody had a little bit of input to those 5 o'clock somewhere jerseys. Issue the free pass here, however. To Cummings. And we'll head back to the top of the order. And there will be a mound visit upcoming. It might be the end of the day for Gavin Wushke. We'll see, because it is Lou Pope coming out. Yeah, Wushke gets a tap from his infielders. He'll hand the ball off. And it will be Brody Forno coming in. So we'll let Brody warm up, but we'll be back here with Energy City Baseball when we return here in Okotoks. Brody Forno now on the mound. And he's got a sense of humor on him. His answer to if he wasn't a baseball player, he would be underwater basket weaving. I think he's saying that if I wasn't a baseball player, I wouldn't be much. And Forno says he's ready. He gets one more pitch. And Brony Forno has a fastball in the low 90s, high 80s, a curve at about in the low 70s. He also has a change. So Forno focusing on the runner at the dish. Takes a peek over his right shoulder. And that looks like it was that 12-6 change in for a strike. Good to see Brody finally out here in Okotoks. That one put high into the Okotoks guy. Forno will get out the way. He'll cover up at second. But making his way to make that catch was Matchy. One away. That will bring in the shortstop, Robert De La Garza. As I said, DH yesterday and eventually came into pitch. Forno, brief check. That one slipped out of the hand. We'll call that a ball. Generously in the area of De La Garza. Okotoks product, Brody Forno takes a peek, delivers, and De La Garza fouls it off. Evens up the count at 1-1. Forno delivers, check swing foul, and let's make it 1-2. Forno, this is fifth year with the Dawgs, attending Campbellsville University in Kentucky last year. His first year there after starting his NCAA career at Wilson State College and Oklahoma Wesleyan, and a couple of years at Campbellsville. Runner goes, but Forno outside. Is the pitch out in time? It is not. So runners on the corners now for Energy City. Last year with the Dawgs, 15 games played, 4 starts for Forno. He had a 3-0 record with the Dawgs with a 3.03 ERA and 40 strikeouts in the regular season. Added another 3 in the playoffs. And has only 1 game played in the playoffs. And now we'll go to 3-1 or 3-2. Count is full. With 1 away and Cactus Rats on the corners. What will Forno do here? Runners go. Forno gets the strikeout. Can they get the strike him out, throw him out? They do. Strike him out, throw him out, and cut down the Cactus Rats. The Dawgs prevent a run. Ariola guns him down. We'll be back with the top of the 6th when we return here on Dawgs Baseball. Well, Cactus Rats Baseball on Flow Sports. New pitcher in for the Cactus Rats. It's number 5, Chris Nino, out of Stockton, California. Former home of the Calgary Flames affiliate team. His first year with Energy City has an ERA of 6.75 in 3 games. Does have a win on his record. He was the pitcher of record for the win here in Okotoks earlier in the season. So the second time the Dawgs are seeing Nino. Williams fouls off his first offering from the new Cactus Rats pitcher. So Williams, the Emporia, Kansas native, watches that one fly for a ball. Nino also has a save on the season. So it's coming in a variety of situations. That one outside. 8 strikeouts on the year for Nino, and that's pretty good considering he's only pitched 4 innings. So he's averaging 2 strikeouts an inning, but also he's issued a fair number of free passes, 3 walks. I don't know if that information was relayed to Caden Williams because he's staying very disciplined at the dish here. So 8 strikeouts, 3 walks. I think you're okay with that ratio if you're a fan from Energy City. The 3-1 offering from Nino. Catches the outside edge. I think Williams is ready to toss that bat, thinking he was going to get a free walk to his base. The 3-2 the count in this tie game. Dawgs got 2 in the second. Energy City answered with 2 in the fourth. Now we are here at the top of the 6th. Williams puts that one into the Okotoks skies. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit, but won't fool Jackson Elias Campbell. 1 away. That'll bring Connor Croson to the dish, as I said. DHing today instead of playing either of the corner infield spots. He's called home, allowing Matt Van Slyke to slip over to first base for the first time and of this season so far, especially at home. Oh, and they've plunked Croson, and Croson will take a quick 90 feet jog. Took it right off the shoulder, and luckily that looked like it was a changeup, so that's probably the low 70s. Not going to feel great, but not going to smart as much as if it's a 4-seamer high and inside. But that'll bring Barry Eisman to the plate out of Reinhardt University. Oh, and it looks like there is a pinch runner that's been called in. Don't know who it is pinch running there. Sometimes tough to see these numbers in the darker black and red uniforms. Don't think it's Declan Spooner. I think it might be 15 as Barry Eisman takes a called strike. Runner goes. Is he in time? That strike not anywhere close. So a stolen base for the Dawgs pinch runner. It's number 6. So it's Aiden Kraus, the pinch runner, at second. So Kraus steals some 90, the freshman from Gilbert, Arizona. Kraus with a decent primary lead. It's checked up on slightly by the shortstop. Iceman fouls that one in my general direction. That'll take the count for Iceman to 1-2. You have to think the only we're going to keep Croson into that DH position for so long, especially with how yesterday's game went. And hey, get a couple eyes on a couple extra bodies when you can in some of these weekend series, and gonna make another run. He's gonna have to get back and tag up. Is that one gonna be fielded well in front? Elias Campbell in front of Jackson Davis. So 2 away. For Matt Van Slyke to step to the dish. So Matty Van Slyke checked the swing, but gonna get the called strike regardless. And it's funny, you see Van Slyke playing today, but in our player poll, he didn't even list that as one of the positions he was playing this year. But obviously, getting that opportunity with Kroll being day-to-day and wanting to give the day off to the pair of first basemen that played last night, Connor Croson and Benito Bonilla. So allowing Van Slyke to play the other corner of the infield. Takes the called ball. Yeah, Benito struggling a little bit at the plate this season, so maybe trying to allow somebody to allow themselves to get hot, and if that could be Van Slyke, allow him to rotate in a little bit more. 1-1 offering well off the plate, and having to keep watching considering there is some speed out there with Aiden Kraus. Kraus, 5'11", attending Chandler Gilbert Community College out of Gilbert, Arizona. So getting play his community college at home. Kraus takes his lead at second. Van Slyke at the dish and a 2-1 lead in the count. Eventually comes home in the dirt, 3-1 the count to Van Slyke. Kraus causing chaos at second. Kraus in for Croson, for those of you just tuning in. And the designated hitter, we'll have to see if he stays in the game in that DH position. Van Slyke puts this one in between center and right, but no, it will hook into the glove. Well ranged there by Kenyon Sanders. The Dawgs strand one in scoring position, but cannot score. Your score heading into the home half of the 6th inning. We're tied at 2-2 here on Flow Sports. As his Dawgs tradition, it seems Forno will only go one inning before he's replaced by number 22, Nate Charlton. So Nate Charlton, the Okotoks native, takes over. So Nate, the lefty out of Mount Head Community College. The lefty has appeared in 4 games so far and has an ERA of 1.68. The Dawgs Academy product has also pitched 5.1 and has a win on the air. He took home the win at the 15-6 stomp in Brooks. Charlton gets a call in at around the knees of batter Timo Arasena. Sometimes in these hotter days, the arms get tired a little bit quicker. So you're going to start seeing some of those one innings from the Dawgs. Gets a second called strike in a similar location. Charlton's cooking. Nate Charlton gets the sign he likes. Comes set, the pitch. And Arasena will send it right back to Charlton. Charlton will jog over and underhand it to the new first baseman, Benito Bonilla. So Husu to the dish, and as we said, Benito Bonilla in at first base, and 2 plays for the first baseman. He'll step on the bag. 2 up, 2 down for Nate Charlton. Benito Bonilla getting his innings at first. He played last night out in right field. Elias Campbell comes to the dish. He was stranded last time he was out on the bases. Oh, and he dropped the bat off his shoulder as soon as that pitch was thrown. That's a little disrespectful. Not swinging the entire way as he... And this time, Campbell swings, and I know I got chewed out for that when I was playing in the younger age groups. Definitely know you're giving Nate Charlton an advantage if you can find the strike zone when the bat isn't even on your shoulder. Ariola lines up outside, and that one's put into play right up the middle. Charlton did good to get out of the way. Worked well in the 2-strike count there for Cummings, and he's now on base. That'll bring forward Jackson Davis. As I said, one of the 2 Davis brothers, that one high and outside. Last time Campbell was on base, the Dawgs did spend a lot of time making sure he stayed at first, or rather Campbell. Patterson, New Jersey product. As that pitch in for a ball. Charlton yet to find the strike zone in this AB. Trying to paint the outside corner here to Davis. Just leaning a little bit too far back to try and put some extra heat on and just pulling the ball out of the strike zone. That one's going to be down in the dirt, and a 3-pitch walk has been issued by Charlton. So suddenly he goes from getting the first 2 out quick to given a couple extra bases. Not much he could have done on the base hit back up the middle. But Energy City starting to hand off the torch. That'll be Nick Hagan, the catcher, coming into bat. But it is lefty on lefty here for Charlton. Let's see if he can work some magic. And in theory, the pitcher is supposed to be advantaged. Takes a look over his left shoulder, and that'll back Hagan off the plate at the very least. Now we're going to see Areola and a visit here from the Dawgs coaching staff. You have to wonder if that's David Robb, I think, coming off the bench to just talk to his pitcher. Also gives me an opportunity to just make sure we still have the same middle infielders we do. It is still Machi, Rose, and Munoz. Benito Bonilla, the only new player playing at first base. That one just paints the inside corner. 1-1 the count now for Hagan. Called strike here. 1-2 the count. One and two. Can Charlton get out the inning just like Forno did the inning before? It's Hagan to knock one foul. We'll go to 1-2 all over again. So yeah, the end of Van Slyke's day, as I mentioned, Benito Bonilla, a little bit of a different frame here at first base for the Dawgs defensively. Charlton takes a look to second. Eventually does come home, and Hagan labels that one, and that's going to be at least one for Energy City. It caroms off the corner boards in the outfield, and that'll be a bases clearing double for Hagan. And the Cactus Rats score 2 to take the lead here in the 6th. Beautiful piece of hitting there by Hagan. Just kept the ball on the left-hand side of that foul line, and if it had bounced around a few more times in that awkward angled right field, might have allowed for an extra base. So that will bring forth Sanders, and he fouls off the first pitch he sees. Kenyon Sanders. 0-1 the count. That one's in the dirt, knocked down well by Areola. Tosses the mask aside to make sure his catching counterpart, Hagan, can't go any further than second. One and one offering in the dirt. Let's make it 2-1. Charlton now looking to limit the damage with Hagan only 180 feet away. Comes home. That one's knocked foul up the third baseline. 2-2 the count here for Kenyon Sanders. The offering, Sanders puts this one high into the sky. Coming forward is Farah. He'll make the play, but not before Energy City scores another 2. We have 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th. They now lead 4-2 over the Dawgs. We'll be back when at the other side of the inning. We return here on FloCollege. So it's still Nino on the rubber. See, Source his final pitch of his warm-up, but good snag there from Hagen. And it will be Farah leading off, I do believe. Yes, the left-handed tall left fielder today will lead us off to Can't You Hear Me Knocking? He's knocking on the door here, and the Dawgs trailing for the first time in this game after Energy City scores 2 in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch to Farah doesn't find the strike zone. Didn't miss by much, however. Let's go to 1-0. Farah puts a charge into this ball, but it's going to hang up in the Okotoks guys a little bit too long, and Elias Campbell will get there. 1 away for the Dawgs. Warning track power there. And I'll hand off to Aiden Rose. And Nino once again in a position to pick up the W as the pitcher of record when Energy City took that 2-run advantage and gets a called strike on the outside half to Aiden Rose. And Energy City hoping to pick up a win, hoping to hand off that momentum for the NHL city that calls the Edmonton and area home. Another strike to Rose. The Edmonton metro area home to the Cactus Rats. Rose down 0-2. Defends the pitch from Nino. Fouled off. We'll do it again. Oh, 2 once again for Rose. Rose puts it along the ground. He beat out a single earlier, but that one well in time. Rose will sit down, and the Dawgs have 2 outs. So we go back to the top of the order to Aiden Munoz. Or incorrect, Munoz is in the on-deck circle. Jason Ariola, the 9-hole hitter to come. So can the pride of Riverside get on base and just hand off and play small ball? As a reminder, there was no home runs hit in that 20-1 final score. So it was 20 runs on 17 hits. Dawgs only have a pair so far. Energy City rocking 8 hits on that scoreboard and painting that outside corner on Areola. 0-2 the count to the Dawgs catcher. Areola handling the catching twice in a row. Nino takes the call. Hagen sets out on the outside corner, just a bit outside. 1-2 now. Good eyes there from Areola. Have to reach out and get all the way over there. Hagen sets up center. Pitch outside once again, but quite a bit of movement there on the off speed, but we'll go to 2-2. Yeah, and it looks like the pitch communication, that radio isn't working, so they're having to get the communication from the dugout to Nino via Hagen. Areola slices that one foul. So that can slow down the pace of the game a little bit. Hagen takes the call. That one blocked by Hagen, but the count worked full by Areola. Goes from down 0-2 to a full count. Getting Areola on base would be huge for the Dawgs. Would bring the potential tying run to the dish in their leadoff man. Areola battles that one, just poked the end of the bat to that one. Defending the strike zone. We go again, 3-2. Nino versus Areola for the 8th pitch of the AB. Nino didn't like the first call, takes the second. And it's going to be a walk for Areola. Takes 9 pitches, but Areola eventually does reach base. Good work there from the young man. Areola to try to work the count full after being down in that count 0-2 to start it off. So your catcher Areola at first base, Munoz, your third baseman, representing the potential tying run at home. He puts a charge in this baseball, gets knocked down, but it gets through. So a base knock by Munoz. As I said, the Dawgs just handing off to the next man up. And it will be Eric Matchy stepping in to get to the dish. And I just saw Caden Williams. He's got a wet towel around his neck trying to stay cool down in that Dawgs dugout. What can Matchy do for you? Matchy probably just hoping to find a ground ball into the outfield, as that one will get to the dirt. But well knocked down by Hagen. 1-0 the count. Hagen with a baby blue and navy catching gear, matching with that electric blue alternate uniform with the lightning bolts working his pinstripes. They take a look to Areola at second. Gets a called second ball here. Does Matchy, and if you can load the bases via the walk, you're not going to object if you're the Dawgs. They do have an arm working out in the bullpen. if Nino can't get through this inning. Nino checks up once, twice at second. That one's going to be called a strike at the top of the strike zone. And I don't think there's an agreement. And it might have been the calls getting mixed up there as Hagen has to go talk to Nino once again. I don't think Matchy agreed with that high strike call. But he'll flip that long blonde hair back and get the helmet back on after the mound visit from the catcher. Steps back into the batter's box, ahead 2-1 in the count. Hoping to just pass the torch for the Dawgs. Swings and puts a drive into that one. Will it dip? Will it dive? It will not. Elias Campbell gets there, and the Dawgs strand a pair. We'll be back with the bottom half of the seventh after the stretch when we return here on FloCollegiate. After handing catching duties yesterday, Chase Tucker heads to the mound, his normal position, with a little bit of heave away in the airwaves. And it looks like there may have been another substitution based on the conversations. I'm going to give the scan of the infield. Nope, still Munoz. Still Matchy. It looks like it's still Rose, so it might have been in the outfield. I can't tell. Or it might just be Chase Tucker. So Jaden Cummings at the dish here for Energy City. After Ariola just brushed off, it looked like some clay off the home plate. The heat comes from Chase Tucker, gets a swing. 0-1 to Campbell. Tucker attending Campbellsville University, so it's Campbellsville versus Campbell, and Campbellsville ahead 2-0. Or 0-2 rather. And Tucker put him away. He had the heat, but can't find the zone. Ariola was set up outside, but that pitch well into the left-handed batter's box. Tucker working quickly. That one's down in the dirt, trying to get Campbell to chase. 2-2, count back level. Tucker rocking a 1.50 ERA in 6 innings pitched. Has 5 strikeouts thus far in the season. Can he work another one here? Nope, Campbell will put that high into the Okotoks skies. Rose will range over and pluck that one out of the sky. One away for the Dawgs. Doesn't get the K, but gets the first runner out. As they say, you can't get through without getting the first one. I'll be back to Zach Piles with those bright yellow and pink gloves. Takes a called first strike from Tucker. Tucker working real quick. Misses to the outside for Piles. Piles built much like the Dawgs' usual first baseman, Nash Kroll, that sturdy build, we'll call it. Legs like tree trunks and power behind all of it. 2-1 the count to Piles. Tucker trying to find the bottom of that strike zone, but missed it 3 straight times. 1-3 the count to Piles. 3-1. Piles swings and misses. Count worked full. And Piles fouls off. We'll see pitch number 7 of the AB. Good battle here from Piles. The high vis yellow on the jersey, high vis pink on the gloves, and Piles says, let's see pitch number 8. As we get the broken glass sound effect, one of my favorite, as long as it's not my car. Three and two, one away here in the bottom half of the 7th. Piles pops that one up, similar ranging over. Who will make the play? It'll be Matchy putting that one away, and Rose scampers away after the late call. So 2 away here for Tucker. De La Garza steps to the dish. Shortstop today, DH yesterday. In fact, even came into pitch, and Tucker says, I need a second here. The ball slipped out of my grip as I was setting up. Tucker gets the weak foul ball, slips. Can he get back to his feet in time? He will not. Tucker lost his feet in the grass and couldn't get the out. Looks like he's all right. Just thought that one might have bounced off home plate, but allegedly did not. But that'll bring Timo Aracena to the dish. Aracena playing third today. He's 1 for 3. Batting a .466 over the season. Takes a call at first strike. 0 home runs, but 7 RBIs on the season for Timo. Aracena swings the magic wand over the top of that one. Tucker with the change of pace. Timo way out ahead. Now he's down 0-2. Can he get the punch out? Runner goes. Aracena swings and misses. No. Got a tip on that one, and Areola couldn't hold it. So we'll do 0-2 all over again, but Tucker had Aracena guessing. Areola lines up on the outside half of the plate. Well outside, 1-2 the count. Areola sets up middle this time. Tucker tries to get the runner at first. Can't quite pick off De Garza. One and two the count. 2 away. I'll go back to first once again. De La Garza stirring up a cloud of clay at first base. De La Garza goes, pickoff attempt not in time. So De La Garza will get in safely to second, and the count evened up at 2s. Areola steps forward and lets everyone know the play. That does allow Bonilla to take a few steps off the bag, so a little bit less of a hole there. However, big hole in left as Machi now has to cover second. Two and two the count. Bounced up the middle, fielded by Rose to Bonilla, and 3 away. Dawgs managed to hold the runs there. Scoreless inning by Tucker. And we'll head to the home half of the 7th or the 8th when we return here on the Energy City broadcast here in Okotoks, Alberta. So Jake Skaggs coming in to handle a pinch hitting duty. Takes the called first strike. Inside, we'll go 1-1. Skaggs batting .346 on the season. That pitch high. So I think Skaggs will be heading into center field if my brain is reading everything correctly. And Paez looks like he's in the on-deck circle. But that one fouled off by Jake Skaggs. So it looks like we'll have a substitution for Croson as well. We already knew that. Croson had been taken out of the game earlier for a pinch runner. Let's see what Skaggs can do in the box here. Fouls that one off and just barely gets onto the ground. Racing his way over was Elias Campbell to try and get there. So Kraus will run, but will not get his opportunity to hit. So 2-2. And that one will be pushed just foul. Playing with all fields here as he fouled that one off down the first base side this time, did Skaggs. So Skaggs a little late on the previous pitch, a little early on that one. As Del Rosario's first AB has reached 6 pitches already. Swing and a miss, down goes Skaggs. So Del Rosario gets the K in his first batter. And it will be Paez stepping in to handle the DH duties. So Brandon Paez played last night, coming in a pinch hitting capacity here. Paez takes the first pitch down in the dirt. 1-0 the count. Hagen struggled a little bit with some of those ones down in the dirt, so you have to think the Dawgs' aggressive base running may come out here in these final 2 innings if they can get on base. Paez says no again. 2-0 the count. Montreal, Quebec native attending the University of Utah, Paez. Swings and misses at that offering. 2-1 the count. Way ahead of the off speed there was Paez. Paez gets bat to ball. That one will drop. So the Dawgs have a base runner in Paez, and that's some speed on the bases. Standing at first. Is that another pinch hitter? Nope. Or yeah, it is. Zane Scansey will step in. Scansey, the Campbellsville University product, will come in. Kind of one of those utility players who can put anywhere on the field. I necessarily wouldn't put him on the rubber or behind the plate, but kind of can play everything else. First pitch to Scansey, high and outside. Oh, correction. He was in right field defensively. We didn't see the defensive sub for my position. So that's on me, fans watching at home. They check on Paez at first, but do come home and looking for a little bit of a back pick there. But the count goes to 2-1 here for Scansey. So I saw there was another substitution. Wasn't sure who. It's Scansey in right field for Barry Eisman. That one in the dirt again. But 3-1 the count here for Scansey. And as I said, Dawgs not going to complain if they get free 90s. Just need to get some more, hit the bats alive when there are those runners in the scoring position. And the wind's starting to pick up here. The flags flying from left to right. Scansey puts that one high into the Okotoks skies. Will it get out of play? It will not. It'll settle under. And Piles catches it in foul territory. So first AB of the afternoon will come for Benito Bonilla. Bonilla out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, will step to the dish for his first AB. But they'll check up at first, making sure Paez stays honest. First offering to Bonilla did not go. They're going to rule that he did go. Double clutch that one, made the safe motion first, and then did the punch out motion to say he did go. So throw not in time, but they're making sure Paez stays honest at first. Del Rosario once again goes to first. If anyone from the WCBL is watching, let's have the discussion if we need to do the disengagement count here at this level. Pitch, Bonilla holds. And they mark it as he did hold this time, 1-1. As I said, Bonilla struggled a little bit at the dish, only hitting 142 on the air. Slices that one. Will it get over the backstop? No, it'll stay in play, and the Dawgs leave a runner in scoring, leave a runner on base. A pair of foul ball flyouts end the inning. We'll be back with the ninth when we return, or with the bottom of the eighth and then the ninth. We return here on FloCollege. Frank Flores on the mound now for the Dawgs. The way we are. So Parker Husu takes the first pitch from Flores for a called strike. Flores couldn't field the throw back from Areola. But he's ahead, 0-1. Quick work from Flores, the righty. Husu taps it up the first base line, fielded by the pitcher Flores, and he'll tap the bag, one away. Luckily, there wasn't a meeting of the minds there, as Flores, Bonilla, and Rose all were charging that one down. Seen it a few many times when heads collide there, and you never want to see that as a baseball fan, regardless. That'll bring forth Elias Campbell. A pitch from Flores. Campbell puts it right to Aiden Rose. Didn't need to move. 2 away. Quick work here for Flores in the home half of the eighth. And that'll hand off to Jackson Davis, the center fielder today. Davis 1 for 2 at the dish tonight. Takes a called strike. Flores working quickly. Takes the sign and immediately right into his windup. That'll be put to Rose once again. Rose swallows it up and 1, 2, 3, down go the Cactus Rats. But the Dawgs need to get 2 here in the top of the 9th to keep us going. Can they do it? We'll find out when we return here on FloCollege. So Energy City will leave DeRosario on the mound. First man that he will see will be Jackson Farah. As I said, the Dawgs need a pair to give us the chance for extra innings. Of course, the Cactus Rats, will have a chance to respond if they do. So we'll lead off with Jackson Farah. There was some talk if there was going to be a pinch hitter coming from down here in the press box row here at beautiful Siemens Stadium. Farah takes a called strike. He shakes his head. 0-1 the count to big, tall Jackson Farah. Farah swings and misses. Farah behind 0-2. The 0-2 offering for Farah can't be framed up by Hagen. 1-2. That one's in the dirt. 2-2 for Farah. It looks like it's Wroblewski on the on-deck circle. Farah takes outside. Count is full for Jackson Farah. Farah, knowing the Dawgs are down to their final 3 outs of this ball game, takes it high and he'll take a free 90. Works his way back in the count. So that'll mean Wroblewski is potentially the leading run. 25, Wroblewski in for Aiden Rose. So let's see what Rubo can do for you. The Okotoks Dawgs Academy product out of Okotoks, Alberta, takes a strike on the outside corner. Those bright white batting gloves. He'll step back in. They take a look over to Farah. But Farah knows he's just the first of the things the Dawgs need. Will that one find grass? It will not. Campbell will range all the way over, and Farah will trot his way back to first. Grublecki down. Dawgs down to 2 outs. Areola will step in. He won't be substituted out. Areola 0 for 2 on the day so far. He did get plunked once. Areola sees the pitch in around the hands. That'll get down. That may be extra bags. No, it will just be a long single. But the Dawgs have a pair on the base pass. So they'll hand off to Munoz. Back to the top of the order they go. Munoz 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Munoz hoping to continue. Out of Coachella, California. Broken bat up the middle. But that pitch thrown away, and they're going to say interference. So he'll advance the one runner. Will that advance the runner? No, it'll just award third. But the ball gets free, and they'll call it an error. 1 away now to Matchy after the broken bat leads to an error. And Rubo, or rather, Areola, now only 90 feet away. Matchy takes a called first strike. Areola at third. Munoz at first after the error. Munoz runs, and he'll get a free 90. He doesn't even get a throw. Head first slide from Munoz. So the tying run at third, the go-ahead at second. Only 1 away for the Dawgs. Matchy seeing what he can do. 1-1 the count. Del Rosario on the rubber. Left or right side of the infield. They're all the way in. Matchy fouls that one off. 1-2 the count. Infielders all in. Matchy flips his hair back and applies the helmet back to his head. 1-2 the count. The Okotoks, Alberta native Matchy. Matchy bloops that one. Will it find grass? It will not. It'll be caught. The runners go. Play is at the plate. It's cut off. It's a tie ball game. So we'll at least live to see the bottom of the 9th. But can the Dawgs advance the leading runner? So Jake Skaggs steps to the dish. The go-ahead run, Munoz stands at third. Skaggs swings to the first pitch he sees. That'll fly into the Arcandia Outdoor Training Center. Goes down 0-1. Skaggs hoping to sting one into anywhere in the outfield and hope that it finds a piece of the turf. Advance that leading run home. Trying to avoid extra innings. That one's well inside, and you saw Munoz looking closely to see if that ball got away from Hagen. As everyone who's ever watched the Okotoks Dawgs ball game knows, they get very aggressive on the bases. Skaggs swings. Oh, and a beautiful ranging catch by Robert De La Garza denies the Dawgs the go-ahead run. But we'll head into the bottom of the ninth, a tie ball game. Dawgs hope to keep it a blank inning, but Energy City has a chance to walk off on your return here on FloCollegiate. So some defensive substitutions or switching around for the Dawgs. Jason Areola no longer behind the dish. He's at second base. And Robleski in behind the dish. And on the mound, it's Alex Oliver hoping to blank the Energy City Cactus Rats to bring us to extras. Oliver has played 3 games, has pitched 3 innings, has struck out 4, has an ERA of 3, has not yet issued a base on balls in his 3 appearances. What can the 6'2" Grove, Oklahoma native do for the Dawgs? Gets a called first strike here in the bottom of the ninth. He's facing the catcher for Energy City, Nick Hagan. Hagan puts it up the middle. Matchy takes the hop off the turf. Good dig by Bonilla. 1 away. The Dawgs pressing for extras. And it will be Cade Sanders coming to the dish. He's 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Kenyon Sanders. Sanders swing and a miss. He's down 0-1. He'll swing on that second pitch. Will it slice foul? No, it will not. It'll bounce off the wall. Sanders thought it had cleared it, but it'll be a double. So now the game-winning run stands at second. So Cummings will step to the dish. He's 0 for 1 on the afternoon. And he'll be intentionally walked. So the intentional walk will leave runners at first and second. Oliver now going to have to try and pitch a ball on the ground. Sets up the double play ball. So just out there to remind the infield is, especially, you got a guy that isn't an everyday second baseman at second in Jason Areola. Areola gonna potentially be key if a ground ball is played to try and turn two. But here comes Zach Piles, power hitter, gonna try and get it into the outfield at the very least. And Oliver steps off. That was close to a balk, but not going to be ruled that. Oliver deals outside to Piles in the dirt. 1-0. As I said, the intentional walk to set up a potential double play ball, hoping that they can get Piles hit one around along the ground into the dirt. 2-0 the count. Good job by Wroblewski, who's, as I mentioned, fresh into the game here for the 9th inning. Piles swings and puts that one into the Okotoks sky. Skaggs is gonna get there. And will they advance the runners? The runners will go, or rather, just the lead runner. And Areola couldn't catch it cleanly, but it is 2 away. So Piles put it high into the skies. Here comes De La Garza. He's 2 for 4 on the afternoon. What can Oliver do here? De La Garza puts it into right field. Running and making the catch there is Zane Scansey. And the Dawgs force extras. They come back, score 2 in the top of the 9th. We'll now head into extra innings when we return here on FloCollege. So Jake Skaggs will advance out on second. And on the mound to try and keep the Dawgs off the scoreboard is Thomas Hartley. Hartley out of Tallahassee, Florida. 6'2" right-hander. And Paez will lead off for the Dawgs. So Hartley on the air, 5.14 ERA. Has actually been a starter in his previous 2 games played. has pitched 7 innings, 14 strikeouts. Brandon Paez steps into the dish with a big opportunity. One of the new Dogs looking to make his name marked into the memories of those in attendance here. The Dogs looking to take the whole weekend series against the Energy City Cactus Rats. They look to Skaggs at second. Pitch into the dirt for Paez. He's ahead 1-0. Paez, Montreal, Quebec's native, attending the University of Utah. Good eye once again. He's ahead 2-0. As we said, there is a runner at second. That is Skaggs. Skaggs being held on second by Cummings. Third pitch misses the strike zone. As I said, 14 strikeouts by Thomas Hartley. That's a good number. 9 bases on balls. So the stuff is good, but it's just a little out of control. Will this be the 10th free pass issued by Hartley on the year? He'll get one. 3-1 the count. Batter's stance, or batter's mentally there saying, you haven't shown me a strike, show me one, and then I'll get the bat off my shoulders. 3-1 to Paez. Checks twice on Skaggs. Paez squares to bunt, but he'll take a free 90 feet as he'll take a walk. So hands off. And it will be an intentional walk to, or no, gonna have a meeting with all the runners. You see your 2 co-managers on this season, both talking with them, Lou Pote and Mitch Schmidt. So this is a vital part of the afternoon, turning into the early evening. But it was Mitch Schmidt calling his men over. And Jeff Wong says, that's long enough, Mitch. As I've said, the Dogs usually aggressive on the bases. They got runners at first and second. And a little bit of protest coming out here from Jordan Blundell, maybe about how long they were allowed to talk there. Blundell covering his mouth with his lineup card. Had a long extended conversation with Wong. Wong will eventually put his mask back on at the accumulation of that conversation with Blundell. Scansey, the right fielder, steps in to the batter's box. Runners at first and second for the Dogs. Scansey, another one of those new Dogs. Oh, and they've got the Dogs in a pickle. And they will tag out the lead runner. As I said, Dogs get aggressive on the bases, a little over aggressive. At 1 away for the Dogs as they get the lead runner, Skaggs. Scansey now a little bit of a deeper hole to dig the Dogs out of, but he'll have a good eye. Brings the count to 1-0. They'll step off. Now as Jake Skaggs chopped down. Scansey at the dish. Holds up into a 2-0 count for the right fielder, Scansey. Dawgs looking to set the score to beat instead of going into the bottom half tied once again, but trouble finding the strike zone here for Thomas Hartley. Three and oh, and that one's out wide. And the Dawgs once again have a runner on first and a runner on second. And after a pair of walks issued, you have to think there might be someone that they begin loosening up in the bullpen, but Energy City disagrees. Benito Bonilla steps into the dish. Benito now playing first base, going to try and put something into the outfield, and he's certainly got power. Takes down the bottom half of the strike zone, 0-1. Hot day here in the beginning of the Okotoks summer ball season. When he put the power into that swing, but wasn't on time. He's down an 0-2 hole. Benito Bonilla down 0-2 to Thomas Hartley. Hartley delivers. Check swing from Bonilla and just missed it. Hartley 1-2 the count. Bonilla just needs to get this one through the infield. That needs to be the mentality here for Bonilla. That one will get away. The runners will advance. So the Dawgs advance 90 feet. Runners at second and third. Is that one the first one that's really gotten away from Hagen today? And there is a pitcher warming for Energy City. Just playing some toss with the football, so very early in the warming procedure. But a pair of Dawgs in scoring position. If this one gets away, could be a free run for the Dawgs. Benito Bonilla stands in, chasing down Hartley. He'll get that one. It'll be stopped up the middle. The runner will score as could not handle it. Could Hagen. So the Dawgs score a run and they got runners on the corners. That was a great play by Jaden Cummings, but Hagen couldn't handle it. So an infield single there for Bonilla. And that'll bring out Jackson Farah. As you saw, Energy City had their runner or their fielders in the perfect position. Knocked down the infield single, but Cummings, the throw home, too hot to handle. Pickoff attempt to first, ball gets away. Oh, and you saw just lurking, just ready to go. It's the runner at third for the Dawgs. 0-0 to Farah. One away. The Dawgs have scored one in the top of the 10th. Farah got a hold of that one. Will it be enough? No, it'll drop foul. Farah was trying to put it onto the core 4 patio. 0-1 to Jackson Farah. Runners on the corners for the Dawgs. Scansey at third. They do deal, and that one fouled off. Oh, I thought it was a wild pitch, and we would have seen Scansey make a scamper for home. But 0-2 to Farah. The Dawgs take the lead in the top of this 10th inning. They'll check on Bonilla at first. Big, tall Benito Bonilla at first. Scansey at third and Farah at the plate. And the Dawgs extend their lead. Farah fouls it off. We'll go again, 0-2. Wishing and a hoping and a wishing and a hoping. He's staying alive is Jackson Farah. Bonilla was ready. That one down into the dirt, trying to get Farah to chase. A good eye from the man at the plate. The 1-2 offering coming to Farah. Sets. Swing and a miss from Farah. The throw does not come. Bonito Bonilla advances on the strikeout. Wroblewski steps to the dish. A catcher with the flags barely aflutter in the outfield. Rubo trying to propel another couple of runs across the plate if he can get something off the wall. The pitch to Wroblewski. Froze in the dirt. And Hagen had to be aware. These Dawgs are chomping at the bit to try and put another couple runs across the plate. As I said, Scansey at third and Bonilla now at second. Nobody holding him on, so he's got a huge lead at second. Ooh, that was inside, but apparently caught the plate on Wroblewski. 1-1. Wroblewski stands in, staring down Thomas Hartley. Outside, and good job getting lateral, because if that had gotten past Hagen, it's another run. 2-1 the count here to Wroblewski. Wroblewski with his stand-up stance. Squats down, swings and misses. 2-2 the count. Wroblewski will take a walk out, get his grip back. Reach up, maybe grab an extra little bit of pine tar off the top of his bat as he steps back into the batter's box, staring down Energy City's Thomas Hartley. Wroblewski frozen. And that will be the end of the top of the 9th, but the Dawgs do score one, meaning Energy City must answer when we return here on Home Team Live. Correction, FloCollege. So it is still Alex Oliver on the mound for the Dawgs. Wroblewski with the throwdown, and we'll get live with the bottom half of the 10th inning. And it's a dangerous batter for Energy City. It's Aracena in at the dish, and De La Garza, the DH last night's shortstop today, stands in as the runner. Pitch high to Aracena, 1-0. The navy blue helmets with this Electric City alternate jersey, or the Electric Blue Energy City jersey, correction. Aracena puts that one into center field, fielded, and I thought it was Williams, but I know he's been pulled. It's Scansey, I do believe, in center. Or correction, it's Skaggs in center. I was wondering where he was. Husu still in at the DH. Not as many changes for Energy City. Takes the first strike here. As I said, one away here in the bottom half of the 10th. The Dawgs looking for the comeback victory after scoring one in their half of the 10th. Oliver high and inside, 1-1. Alex Oliver with the well-groomed mustache on the mound. Just misses the outside corner, trying to find the bottom corner of that zone. 2-1 to the DH, Husu. Oliver steps off, making sure that De La Garza stays honest at second. Husu at the dish. Oliver checks De La Garza at second, not once but twice. Delivers home and finds the corner of the zone, trying to put Energy City in a tough situation. 2-2 the count. That one popped up. Will it stay in bounds? It will. Munoz puts it away, and the Dawgs are 1 out away from a comeback victory over Energy City. Munoz gets a tap from Machi. And they're going to have a conversation with Olive. Oliver will give you his pitch mix here. He has a fastball in the high 80s, tops out at 91, the 76 to 78 mile an hour curveball, a slider in the low 80s, and the change at 80 to 82. So just putting their play in are these Dawgs. Long conversation here. Also, maybe trying to ice out the man at the dish a little bit. It's Elias Campbell. Campbell 2 for 4 at the dish so far tonight. Gonna narrow up the middle infielders. That one will just miss the inside corner. 1-0 for Campbell. Runner dancing, and Campbell swings and misses. 1-1 the count here. Oliver versus Campbell. Wroblewski sets up on the outside. Big hack there. And potentially a final strike here for Oliver. He's ahead 1-2 to Campbell. Can the Dawgs put together an extra innings comeback here in Okotoks as the away team? Runner goes, pitches outside. Wroblewski says, I'm not going to risk throwing this one into left field. So we'll just take the ball, an even count, 2-2. Leading run only 90 feet away. Doesn't change how the Dawgs are setting up their infield. Oliver, it's a swing into play. Matchy turns to Bonilla, and the Dawgs' comeback is complete. It takes 10 innings, but they take home the victory. 5-4, the final score. They sweep this technically away series, taking both games. For myself and all of the production crew here at Flow Sports, we thank you so much for tuning in. The Dawgs take home both sides of the away series. We'll be back again on Tuesday, and we'll see you here on Flow Collegiate.